Not every anime villain suffers the same. Today I'm putting them on a scale. 7 levels, starting from C tier, where the pain was real but survivable, all the way up to 3 S tier, where the suffering was so complete, so total, that the ranking itself breaks. By the end, you'll understand why I left the last one. Let's go. Level 1 is where the pain was real but survivable. And it starts with Yuno Gasai from Future Diary. Her parents locked her in a cage. An actual cage inside her own home. They starved her, beat her, and left her there for days at a time as punishment for the smallest things. She kept a diary just to cope with the isolation. Marking off days was the only way she could feel like time was still moving. Then she met Gyutaro, the first person who was ever nice to her.
Don't get them confused. Hey there, Amino. I saw it coming a mile away.
That was all it took. When he died, she reset the whole world to bring him back. Watched him die again in a loop. Whatever normal she had left disappeared completely. She didn't become a killer overnight. Her parents built that person inside that cage long before any of this started. Then, on the same level, we have Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. He was engineered as the Chimera Ant King, created through forced genetic fusion with one purpose only, to conquer and rule over humanity. He also came into the world, killing his own mother during birth.
Don't make me repeat myself. Go prepare me a feast.
And was immediately surrounded by servants and soldiers who existed only to follow his orders. He had no name until he asked for one himself. No childhood, no warmth, nothing. And everything around him pointed to the same lesson. Strength was the only thing that mattered. Then he met Komugi, a small blind girl who kept beating him at a board game. For the first time in his existence, something cracked open inside him. He started spending time with her not because she was useful, but because she made him feel something he had never felt before. It lasted only a few days. Then the poison from the bomb reached him. He died having experienced a real human connection for less than a week. That's all he got. And that's C tier. But the next level isn't about bad luck anymore. The next level is about people who had someone specific choose to destroy them. At the end of C tier, we have Shishio Makoto from Rurouni Kenshin. He worked as an assassin for the Meiji government and did exactly what they asked.
In the end, only the fittest survive in this world. You live if you are strong. You die if you are weak.
He was effective, disciplined, and completely loyal. When the government decided he had become a liability and knew too much, they soaked him in oil, set him on fire, and buried him while he was still breathing. However, he survived, barely. The burns were so severe that his skin couldn't regulate his body temperature anymore. He had to wrap himself head to toe in bandages just to keep himself together. Every single day after that was physical agony just to stay alive. What came after wasn't madness. It was the completely logical response of a man who had been thrown away and decided he had nothing left to lose.
You wield such power. So why has one who was once called a wolf of Mibu lowered himself to serving as a government dog?
B tier is different, and this isn't bad luck anymore. Dabi from My Hero Academia. His real name is Toya Todoroki. Endeavor wanted a child who could surpass All Might, so he trained Toya from the moment he could stand. The problem was that Toya's body couldn't handle his own flames. Every session burned him from the inside out. Endeavor could see it happening and kept pushing anyway. Then he decided Toya wasn't good enough and moved on to Shoto. However, Toya kept training alone on a mountain, trying to get his father to look at him again. One day, the flames took over completely. His family was told he died, but he didn't. He spent years alone, burned, abandoned, and invisible to the one person whose attention he had spent his entire childhood trying to earn. By the time he came back as Dabi, there was nothing left of the boy who just wanted his father to see him. Right next to him, we have Itachi and Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. And their story is the same tragedy told from 2 completely different sides. The Hidden Leaf Elders ordered Itachi to massacre his entire clan to stop a coup that would have destroyed the village. He was a teenager. He killed his mother and his father with his own hands.
Father, Mother, do not fear it. This is the path you have chosen.
He spared only one person, his little brother Sasuke, and then made absolutely sure Sasuke hated him so completely that he would spend his whole life getting strong enough to kill him. Itachi spent years after that being hunted as a traitor and a criminal, while secretly still protecting the village that had given him the order in the first place. He never told Sasuke the truth. He died letting his brother believe he was a monster. Whereas Sasuke was 8 years old when he came home to bodies everywhere. He forced him through a genjutsu of their parents' deaths over and over until Sasuke's mind broke completely, and he passed out on the floor surrounded by corpses. From that night, Sasuke had one single purpose keeping him alive: to kill Itachi.
I have told you the whole truth. I won't have to.
Eventually, after a long time, he killed Itachi, and the truth came out immediately after. The brother he spent his whole life hating had loved him every single day. The village he thought was innocent had given the order that started everything. Next, we have A tier, where the entire world itself was built against them from birth. And it starts with Esdeath from Akame ga Kill, who watched her entire clan get wiped out when she was still a child. Every single person she grew up with was gone in one fight. Her father was the last one standing. When he finally went down, his last words to her were that the weak have no place in this world. She had no food, no shelter, and nobody coming for her. She survived by hunting, fighting, and outlasting everything that came at her. Every single day, something tried to kill her. And every single day, she made it through by being harder than whatever was in front of her. She watched people show kindness around her and get killed for it.
I quite enjoyed that. Expect the field suits bodyguard duty.
She watched people hesitate and pay for it immediately. The ones still breathing at the end of each day were always the ones who felt nothing and kept moving. That pattern repeated so many times, and for so long that it stopped being a lesson and just became the only reality she had ever known. Scar from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. He was an Ishvalan. When Amestris launched its extermination campaign against Ishval, soldiers went through entire communities and wiped them out completely. Not as collateral damage, as a direct order. The goal was to erase the Ishvalan people entirely. Scar watched his entire community get destroyed around him. His brother used a forbidden alchemy technique to transfer his own arm onto Scar's body just to keep him breathing. His brother died doing it. He survived surrounded by the bodies of everyone he had ever known. His people, his culture, his home, all of it gone by direct government order. He spent everything after that hunting state alchemists, not because he enjoyed killing, because every single one of them had participated in or benefited from the destruction of everything he came from. I placed Doflamingo from One Piece here for a reason. He was born a celestial dragon, the absolute top of the world, untouchable. Then his father decided he wanted a normal life and voluntarily gave it all up when Doflamingo was 8 years old. Within weeks of leaving Mariajois, people were throwing rocks at them, burning their house down, torturing them in the streets specifically because of who they used to be. His mother got sick from the stress and conditions of that life. There was no medicine. Nobody would help them. She died in front of him while his father watched. He got down on his knees and begged the celestial dragons to take them back. They laughed at him. That was the moment. He decided the world only understood one thing, and he spent the rest of his life building enough power to make sure no one would ever put him on his knees again.
It's because I know all about a very important national treasure. Something that's hidden within the holy land of Mariajois.
S tier is different from everything so far, and one character here almost didn't make it onto this list at all. Level 4 starts with Reiner Brown from Attack on Titan. He was sent to Paradise Island as a spy on a simple mission, to find the founding Titan and bring it back. He spent years training alongside Eren, Mikasa, and the others. He watched his friends die in battle. He fought next to them, bled next to them, and protected them. And the whole time, he knew that he was one of the direct reasons they were all in danger. The guilt got so bad that his mind literally split into 2 separate personalities just to keep functioning. One was the soldier following orders, the other was the friend who genuinely loved the people he was supposed to destroy. Both were real. Both tore him apart daily. It got so bad that at one point, he sat down next to Eren and almost confessed everything out loud without even realizing what he was doing. Eventually, he tried to kill himself, but survived. and had to keep carrying all of it with nowhere to put it and no way out. Askeladd from Vinland Saga watched his mother get destroyed before he was old enough to do anything about it. She was a Welsh princess who was taken and enslaved by Vikings. He grew up watching her deteriorate year by year, the abuse, the captivity, the complete loss of everything she was before. It happened slowly right in front of him, and he could do nothing. By the time she died, she had already lost her mind completely. He became a Viking because it was the only path available to someone who was nobody, half Norse, half Welsh, too mixed to belong anywhere, so he made himself so dangerous that belonging stopped mattering. He spent decades playing the role of a ruthless Viking leader while secretly protecting the last pieces of his mother's world. Every brutal thing he did, every person he used, every line he crossed, all of it traced back to that boy watching his mother fall apart and being completely powerless to stop it. This level is where pain stops being something that happens to them and becomes what they actually are. Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. His father Dario was a violent drunk who contributed nothing. Dio watched his mother work herself to death trying to keep them alive while his father drank away every coin that came in. She died exhausted and broken. Dario felt nothing about it. Growing up, Dio was constantly beaten and humiliated. His father made sure he understood from as early as possible that he came from nothing and was worth nothing. Every single day in that house delivered the same lesson. Kindness gets you used, softness gets you buried. When Dario died, he sold Dio to the Joestar family to settle a debt. Dio entered that house with nothing, surrounded by wealth he had never seen before. And instead of feeling grateful, he immediately started calculating how to take it all. He manipulated the Joestar family from the inside.
Your manners are dreadful.
Forgive me, Father.
Turned their own son Jonathan against himself, and when that wasn't enough, he got his hands on the stone mask and used it on himself. He didn't become a vampire by accident. He chose it. Zeref from Fairy Tail. His brother Natsu died young, and Zeref couldn't accept it. He dedicated everything to studying forbidden resurrection magic just to bring him back. When he finally succeeded, the god Ank'Seram cursed him as punishment. The curse was simple and completely devastating. The more Zeref valued life around him, the more death he caused. Every person who got close to him died. He spent decades trying to isolate himself to protect people, but it didn't matter. The curse followed him everywhere. Then he found Mavis eventually, the only person who understood what it felt like to carry something like this.
Why do you persist here? Searching for a place to die?
The place of my death has been decided.
They connected in a way he hadn't experienced in centuries. Then the curse activated the moment he felt something real for her. It left her frozen between life and death. The one person who got through to him in 400 years, and he destroyed her simply by caring about her? Then we have Akaza from Demon Slayer. He grew up in extreme poverty with a father who was dying of illness. To pay for his father's medicine, he stole repeatedly and got caught repeatedly. He was beaten by the magistrate's men so many times that his body started to go numb to it. However, he kept stealing. His father eventually took his own life specifically to stop being a burden on Akaza. Then he was taken in by a dojo master. For the first time, something resembling a real life started forming around him. He trained, got strong, and fell in love with the master's daughter, Koyuki. Then a rival dojo poisoned the well. Koyuki and her father died. He came back and found them the same way he had found his own father. So in a rage, he killed every member of the rival dojo with his bare hands and was found by Muzan covered in blood. Muzan turned him into a demon, and the memories of everything he lost got buried under the transformation. 2S+ has one villain on it that most people completely underestimate. By the end of his section, you'll understand why he belongs. And at the very start of level 6, we have Homura Akemi from Madoka Magica, who started as a sick, shy girl. She was hospitalized for most of her childhood with a heart condition and has no friends. When she finally transferred to a new school, she met Madoka, the first person who was ever genuinely kind to her without wanting anything in return. Then, everything fell apart. Madoka died, and Homura made a contract to go back in time and save her.
You go back in time, right, Homura?
That was the beginning of something that never ended. She relived the same timeline over and over, dozens of times, hundreds of times. Every single loop, she watched Madoka suffer, get corrupted, or die while she could do nothing to permanently stop it. The girl she was at the very beginning got scraped away, layer by loop until almost nothing of her was left. By the end, she had rewritten the laws of the universe itself, not for power, just because she refused to watch Madoka suffer one more time. Lucy from Elfin lied. She was born a Diclonius, a mutation that gave her invisible vectors she could use as weapons. But the government classified her as a threat before she had done anything to earn that classification. She was taken from her family as a child and put into a research facility where scientists ran experiments on her that had no purpose beyond testing the limits of what her body could survive. She spent years in that facility being cut open, injected, restrained, and studied. Not as a person, as a specimen. The one moment of genuine human connection she experienced inside that place ended with the person being killed right in front of her. That was the moment something broke permanently. She stopped trying to reach toward people and started destroying everything within reach instead. When she finally escaped, she left bodies everywhere. Not because she was born that way, but because years of being treated like an animal had removed every reason she had to treat people any differently than they treated her. 3 S tier is not a ranking, it's an acknowledgement. And if you think you already know who ends up here, keep watching. Griffith from Berserk had everything taken from him in the most brutal way possible. He started with nothing, even couldn't afford bread. Spent his childhood staring at castles from dirty streets with no path to get there and no one willing to help him find one. He built the Band of the Hawk from the ground up, fought wars nobody else could win, ended a 100-year conflict almost by himself, and got knighted for it. For the first time, his dream actually looked real. Then he got thrown into a torture chamber for sleeping with the princess. For an entire year, they cut out his tongue, sliced his tendons so he couldn't move, peeled his skin off, and poured boiling water on him. Over and over, for 12 straight months. When his comrades finally broke him out, he couldn't speak, couldn't walk, couldn't even hold a sword. The most powerful man any of them had ever known was lying there, needing someone to change his bandages and spoon-feed him.
That is the sentence of God.
And that is exactly when the eclipse happened. Gyutaro from Demon Slayer. His mother hated him before he even arrived. She tried to end the pregnancy herself, but when that didn't work, she continued trying after he was born. He grew up without food, care, or protection. People in the district avoided him as if he were diseased. They mocked his voice, called him ugly, and crossed the street when they saw him coming. He ate whatever he could find just to stay alive. The district he grew up in was the lowest part of Yoshiwara. Bodies got dumped there regularly because nobody cared enough to do anything else with them. His sister Ume was the only thing that ever changed that. For the first time, his life had a reason attached to it. When Ume was 13, she stabbed a samurai in the eye for disrespecting Gyutaro. They burned her alive for it while he was out working. He came back to find her in a ditch, charred, barely breathing. He killed the samurai and the brothel owner responsible on the spot, then carried her burned body through the streets, desperately looking for anyone willing to help. And that is exactly where Doma found them. He gave them his demon blood. And from that moment, Gyutaro and Ume stopped being the world's victims and became upper-rank 6 demons, now known as Daki and Gyutaro. Gendo Ikari from Neon. Genesis Evangelion destroyed everything around him because of one loss he never got over. His wife, Yui, didn't just die. She got absorbed into Unit 01 during an experiment and disappeared completely. No body, no grave. Anne's, without goodbye, just gone in an instant. Gendo shut down completely after that. He abandoned his son Shinji immediately, didn't raise him, didn't contact him for years. Shinji was a living reminder of everything he had lost, and he couldn't face it every day. He spent years engineering an entire project around one single goal, just getting Yui back. He started wars, manipulated everyone around him, and used his own son as a tool. None of it mattered to him. He didn't become this monster of hunger for power, And what was left just kept moving forward because stopping meant accepting she was really gone forever.